Hello, my wonderful friend. In today's video, we're talking about how to get a woman to think about you non-stop, specifically 5 powerful ways to do this. Have you ever really liked someone and thought about her all the time, but maybe you were like a little bit nervous and didn't know like if she felt the same way about you? Maybe you're in that situation right now. Wouldn't it be really cool if she thought about you nonstop as well? That is exactly what can happen, and the best part is it doesn't take mind games and pretending to be something you're not. Trust me, I will never teach you guys mind games because the truth is they don't work long term. So if you would like to be able to get her to think about you nonstop without mind games, pay close attention and make sure you watch to the end. Now, before we dive in, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, welcome. My name is Melannie. I'm a Christian dating coach for men. I teach you how to stop wasting your time and your energy on bad relationships by learning the skills you need to instead just have your dream girl and your dream relationship. What you learn today comes from my insight as a woman, as well as my extensive training and research as a certified coach. So make sure you subscribe, ring the notification bell, and give me a big thumbs up. Question for you. Are you sick of playing games? They're exhausting, right? And as I mentioned before, they don't work. I'm about to let you in on a secret. Hey, paying close attention. When she likes you, she is going to think about you all the time. She just is. You are not going to have to play mind games with her to get her to do that. It's not about mind games, it's about skills. That's what women want. And when you have those skills, yeah, she's gonna be thinking about you all the time. This is exactly what happened to one of my clients who took my program. We will call him Jalen. Jalen was an awesome guy. He had so much to offer, and he really, he just wanted to love, and he just wanted to be loved. But he had a problem. He either could get no one to notice him, no one to want to go out with him, no one to be interested in him, or when he did finally get someone interested in him, she was a toxic woman. And so he just had bad relationship after bad relationship and then no relationships. And it was this really vicious cycle. Have you ever been there? It's painful, right? It's awful. Again, all he wanted was to treat someone right and to have that special someone. Have you been there too? Now, thankfully for Jalen, he was able to learn from me the things I teach in my program, and some very interesting things started to happen. He learned the right skills, he learned the right game plan, and pretty soon, he was turning everyone's head, guys. Like, seriously, he would walk in a room and all the girls would pay attention, and they all wanted him to talk to them and ask him out and wanted to get to know him better. That's exciting, isn't it? His dating pool became completely unlimited. He became a 10 out of 10, which is where everybody wants to be, right? And he was able to completely eliminate the competition, like I talk about in this video. If you haven't seen that one, there's a link in the description below. Pretty soon, he was the guy that every girl wanted to date, and finding his dream girl was easy and simple and fun instead of impossible like it was before. Now, would you like to know why that happened and how that happened? It's actually very simple. He just learned the right skills and the right game plan. These are the things women are looking for in a man. When you have those things, she can't stop thinking about you. Isn't that exciting? And would you like to learn what some of those skills are too? Good, because that's what we're about to cover. I promised you 5 powerful ways to know how to get a woman to think about you nonstop. And here they are. The first skill to get women to think about you nonstop, and something Jalen became a boss at, is being able to laugh at yourself and not take yourself too seriously. It really comes down to being vulnerable. Here's kind of an interesting fact for you. Most of us as humans, we are terrified of being vulnerable, right? Because it feels vulnerable and that's uncomfortable. And so many of us, we feel like we have to be like this fake perfection in order to have people like us and think we're cool and want to get to know us better. But interestingly enough, people actually are more drawn to people who are willing to be vulnerable than people who are perfect. When someone is okay acknowledging, oh my goodness, I'm human and it's okay, Wow, we really enjoy spending time with people like that. Now, let me clarify, this is not an excuse to say, oh, it's just the way I am, and they better just love me for who I am. It's not an excuse to never improve. It's simply acknowledging that you're human like the rest of the world, and it's okay. Sometimes you mess up, but you're always trying your best to be the best person you can be, and it's just okay. So if you are someone who's okay laughing at yourself and okay just kind of taking the pressure off of yourself and everyone else, wow, that is something women look for in a man. And that is something that will get her to think about you nonstop. Now, my second skill for how to get a woman to think about you nonstop is to be confident that she's going to like you. To go back to my story about Jalen, this is something he did very successfully. When you do this right, you are irresistible. There is something about us knowing we are incredibly attractive and knowing we have a lot to offer that makes everybody else see it and believe it and, want to get to know you better. They're more attracted to you. Now, how do you do that? Because it's important to know you can't just say, again, you gotta love me for who I am and everybody's just gonna love me. That doesn't work. The reason it works for someone like Jalen is, again, he learned the things I teach, he learned the skills I teach, and he knew he had a ton to offer, because he had put in that little bit of elbow grease to become a 10 out of 10 by learning these skills. And so he could hold his head high knowing that he was a 10 out of 10. And so he just kind of counted on people really, really liking him. And they did. Now, how do you make sure you're confident instead of arrogant? Because nobody likes an arrogant person, right? That will definitely not make her think about you nonstop unless she's thinking that you're a jerk, which you don't want. Here's the difference. When you are confident, you're okay if someone doesn't like you. For instance, you go into the situation thinking, wow, they're going to love me because I'm awesome. They're really going to enjoy spending time with me. But if they don't, oh well, and it's okay. If you're not interested in me, I'm not interested in you, so it's not a big deal. But if you're an arrogant person, then you're thinking, no, you have to love me because everybody loves me because I'm the coolest thing ever. That's arrogant. Where if somebody's confident, they're like, okay, it's fine that you don't like me. No big deal. Does that make sense? If you want to get a woman to think about you nonstop, this confident attitude is a game changer. I'm not even kidding. It is so insanely attractive. But what do you do if you don't feel confident, or if you just have no idea where to start to get that confidence? Is that what you're asking right now? I have a free masterclass that's going to teach you what will keep you from being confident and what to do to instead become insanely confident and become irresistible. There's a link to watch this free masterclass in the description below, and I will also put a link in the pinned comment. If you want to quickly go from feeling lonely and not confident to being insanely attractive and very confident, make sure you give that masterclass a watch right now. So let's get to our next skill to be able to make women think about you nonstop. This skill is being an interesting person. I mentioned this in this video too. If you haven't seen it, make sure you give that one a watch as well. Here's the honest truth, guys. If you are boring, she is not going to think about you nonstop. She's not going to think about you at all. That's how we are as humans. When someone is interesting, wow, they're really attractive, and it helps keep that spark alive. This is actually one way to make sure that your love never dies when you do have that special someone. So how do you make sure you're an interesting person? There are several things you can do. Mostly, you just want to make sure you're involved in things. If you're someone who just gets up and then goes to the gym and then watches some TV and then goes to bed and then gets up the next day and then goes to the gym and then watches TV and then gets up, you're boring, right? But if instead you have hobbies and things you're involved in, and if you're contributing to the world and doing cool things, that's what makes you an interesting person. People love to talk to people who are interesting, and that's what helps her think about you all the time, because you're interesting. The truth is, she's not trying to be rude and she's not toxic. If you're not interesting, you're not interesting, which is why you must make sure you are involved in things so that you are a very interesting person. That's what shows her you have a lot to offer. Speaking of which, I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments what you do enjoy doing. What are some of your hobbies hobbies that you are currently doing, and what are some that you think maybe you'd like to get into. Also, while you're in the comments, be sure to comment boss if you would like more videos on how to get a woman to think about you nonstop. Okay, our next skill, guys, this one is insanely important because so many men skip over this one or don't pay attention to this one. And if you blow this, it's going to mess it up. So you paying close attention? If you want to get a woman to think about you nonstop, how you make her feel is everything. And if you show her that you are interested in who she is as a person, wow, that's incredible. That makes her feel amazing when she's around you. That's what makes her attracted to you. And that's what makes her think about you nonstop. People like people who like people. If you make her feel like she's the only person in the room and it's just you and her and she feels connected to you and like you're listening to her and interested in who she is as a person, that's what skyrockets the attraction. So how do you do this? Well, it really comes down to knowing how to talk to her, knowing what questions to ask, knowing how to hold your body language. And this is where most guys blow it. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. They blow it here because they just kind of wing it. They don't have a game plan. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to handle it. And that's what makes her lose interest quickly. This is why you must have a game plan. And I do cover that in that free masterclass I told you about. So do make sure you sign up to watch that. Again, there's a link in the description below and a link in the pinned comment. Bottom line, guys, having a game plan is a lifesaver no matter how you're trying to interact with a woman. Do you want her to think about you nonstop? Make sure you really connect with her and make her feel interesting. And our next tip on how to get a woman to think about you nonstop is to make sure you have a good motive. It's kind of the saying, where is your heart in this? Here's the deal. Are you looking for a happy, lifelong relationship? That special woman to walk by your side, someone that you can lean on and someone who will lean on you. Is that the kind of relationship you're looking for? If it is, that's great, because that's actually what she is looking for as well. And so what matters most, bottom line, guys, this is what matters most to her, is knowing that that's the kind of person you are too. She wants to know where your heart is. She wants to know what your motive is. She is sick of being used. She is sick of guys lying to her. And she's looking for a man who's honest, who's sincere, who's loyal, who's real. That's what makes her feel safe. That's what makes her trust you. That's what makes her fall in love with you. And that's what makes her think about you non-stop. So your actions must show that that's the type of person you are. If you do that, wow, she's gonna think about you nonstop and she's gonna get butterflies and she's gonna like you. Okay, let's sum up what you have learned so far about how to get a woman to think about you nonstop. First, make sure you're someone who's okay being vulnerable. That doesn't mean it's an excuse to not work on yourself. It means you are working on yourself, but you're also okay that you're human and sometimes you mess up and you can laugh at yourself. Next, you want to make sure you are confident that people are really going to like you. People love that attitude and that personality. It's very, very attractive to be around someone who just is confident that people like them because they have worked very hard to make sure they have a lot to offer. When you have worked hard to have a lot to offer, you know you have a lot to offer. Can you imagine how good that would feel? To learn more about this, do make sure you watch that free masterclass. There is a link in the description below. Next, you want to make sure you are an interesting person. If you're boring, she's not gonna think about you. But if you're interesting, yeah, she's gonna think about you all the time. Also, you need to make sure you know how to make her feel interesting and really connect with her, make her feel like she's a really cool person. That is insanely attractive. That's going to make her definitely like you and make her think about you nonstop. And make sure that your motive and your heart are in the right place. If you're able to show her that you're the type of person, the type of partner she's looking for, that right there is what makes you play in her mind on repeat. Thank you so much for watching, my amazing friend. If you enjoyed what you saw, be sure to give me a big thumbs up. And if you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to do that now and ring the notification bell. I want to hear from you in the comments. Would you like more videos like this one on how to get a woman to think about you nonstop? If you would, be sure to comment boss to let me know. Do you have a friend who's kind of crushing on someone and wants her to think about him? If you do, please share this video with him. And if we're not yet friends on social media, check out the links for that in the description below. I would love to connect with you there. Thank you so much again, my amazing friend, and have an amazing day. Hello, my wonderful friend. In today's video, we're talking about how to get a... Yes. Have you ever really liked... What? Now, the second scale for how to... that was awkward. Yes. Okay. I forgot what I was going to say.